Hope you're doing well. Today we have a new batch of authentic decals to have a look at when it comes to War Thunder, and we're going to go through them and also how I'm personally going to do them in the game, just hoping to give you guys a little few pointers in how to try and, well, approach these things. First of all, there is one decal which you can't grind. It is basically just designed for you to buy, and it's this one, the emblem of Panzer Battalion, and it is 200 GE. Some of the other ones are also 200 GE, but you can grind them out, so therefore we'll go through the different ways of grinding them. By the way, if you want to find the authentic decals, you can either find them there, or you can find them in the decals box under week's latest, or you can find them under achievements in decals and then week's latest right here. And if you have a look at them here, you can put them in your favorited achievements, therefore you can track their progress as you go along. Now, the reason why I always cover authentic decals is because just like the battle pass, just like dailies, just like special tasks, they are a great way in basically just playing the game and getting free stuff while you are not focusing on the general research of the game. A lot of people get stuck in the minutiae of trying to get to high ranks by, grinding really fast or, doing stuff like that. Whereas if you focus on things like the decals or focus on stuff such as the battle pass or dailies or anything else, that grind will become a lot easier and you'll be able to get through it without even really noticing. And that's basically what I do when it comes to stuff in War Thunder. I either grind events, grind dailies, special tasks, or stuff such as decals, so therefore while I'm spading machines and researching the next one, it doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like I'm focusing on that next vehicle. I'm focusing on many different factors, so therefore I can get little prizes and move forward with it. So the first decal that is available is a hard one, at least for me personally, and this is the Golden Eagles emblem. They're once again bringing back the air-to-air missile kills, so you need 20 of them in AB or 10 in RB and SB, so it's not a ton of air-to-air missile kills, but the only issue with it is there aren't many vehicles in the Japanese tree which actually have missiles. You have the F-40, the F-104J, the T-2, the F-1, and the F-4EJ Phantom II. So in order to get access to air-to-air missiles, you're going to have to at least have the F-40, and at least for me, well, guess what? I don't have the missiles. So this is going to be a bit of a rough grind. I'm going to be probably doing it in the T2 of all things because I'm closest to the missiles which are there. And another thing to also note about these is the fact that you can just buy this one for GE, so if you don't want to do it, but 10 air-to-air missile kills isn't that bad. You just have to make sure to get the vehicles first. Obviously the best one to do this in is the F4EJ Phantom because you have access to the Sparrows and you have also access to the AIM-9Js, so you could probably do this pretty quickly since the meta of top tier is mainly missiles. The F1 as well is a decent pick since it does get access to AIM-9Ps and also gets access to 4 missiles, so you have 4 goes at it to try and get one. But if you don't have them, then you're just going to have to grind through and try and get some of these air-to-airs, and don't worry, you're not alone. I'm going to be doing the same thing, grinding out these vehicles and trying to get these air-to-air kills. It also may be worth having a look at something like the F-40. The F-40 as a premium, if you have it, it does have access to AIM-9Bs as well, so you can bring that in if you want. If you don't want to grind out, any of the tech tree vehicles, maybe that's a way to go. And you can also get positive grinding into all of the rank 6s as well from that. So that one is just that one's going to be a rough one unless you have the F4EJ, then it becomes incredibly easy. The Ace of Spades emblem is the American air vehicles, and you have to get first place 12 times. Now, there are 2 separate ways of doing this when it comes to aviation. I'm talking about RRB here. You can either do it attack away, so basically play either the Mauler, the AD2, the AD4, or something like the A26s, or if you want to go lower tier into like rank 3, you can play something like the Helldivers, or something like the PBJs, the attackers basically. basically. You can go after ground targets, you can get a ton of points, and with the Mauler yesterday, I was able to get 5,000 score in just one battle in a realistic, just, you know, bombing and using the 20s to hit ground targets. That to me would be one of the easiest ways to do it. It's also one of the ways to kind of turn off your brain and do it, and also garner some SL and get some good research towards the stuff at high tiers. The other way to do it is obviously through air superiority, since generally when we have a look at first places, it's only a missions played thing, so it's not a missions won thing, so you don't have to win the battle, but generally if you're in first place and you're doing the air superiority part, you're going to be wanting to win the battle anyway, because you're going to be trying to carry your team. So you have to pick specific aircraft that you feel very comfortable in. You're going to have to secure at least 2 to 3 kills and maybe some ground kills in order to get the first place, and there are plenty of machines that can do that in the tech trees. You know, the P-47s are incredibly good at this, the P-63s, the P-51s, the F-82 is an incredibly fun little machine to do that with. The P-51H is a monster, and at the end of the day, because of the fact that you have a ton of these machines, and also at the same time, if you want to do it easily, what you have to understand is you can do it at rank 2 as well. So you can go as low as the P-400, or you could go to the P-40 and use these vehicles to get first place and move through. You know, it's one of those things where if you have a look at a lot of these vehicles, the lower you go, the easier it's going to be for you to, dominate the game, because generally as you go lower tier, you are going to face less experienced people, and therefore you should have, superior skills and go forward and, do a ton of damage to them and be able to get that first place. You'll also know, or hopefully know, more about the map knowledge, so therefore go from there. So there's a bunch of opportunities in the American tech tree to play the air superiority role. If I was going for a gung-ho, the P-40E I would definitely have a look at, and the P-40F, then I would do the Mauler personally. The other one to also look at is the Mariner. We talked about the Mariner a little bit ago, where because the Mariner can carry these 8 mines, 1 mine annihilates a base. So if you get on a 3-cap map with an airfield, you can end the battle just with the Mariner. And even with the 4 caps and the no airfield kill, you can still get a ridiculous amount of points just by annihilating airfields with the Mariner if you have it. And that's the same with any mine machines right now. So if you're not confident in air superiority, obviously go for the attackers and play them. If you are confident in air superiority, then play something like the P-40 and go ham with it. The next one is China, and it is just 60 players defeated on the ground. Once again, only 30 in RB. So this one's a general grinding one. We talk about these ones quite a lot. Basically, with general grinding ones, you just want to play the tree as you go along. So this is a kind of one that you don't have to think about at all. I have like the CCKW that I have to spade. And I have, the WZ305, then the ZTZ96A, the CM11. Basically, you just want to play vehicles you would normally play as you're grinding through the tech tree, trying to get to high tiers. So I'm personally probably going to play some rank 4 for this one, just to get access to that tow so I can get the CM25 and the PTZ. And all you have to do is just play. 30 kills is not that much when it comes to any nations. If you want to be meta about it, and if you want to do it as fast as possible, I would recommend the 3-7 lineup, M4A4, T34, M10, very strong lineup. You can also bring in the Chaffee if you don't like one of those vehicles. The 5-7 lineup as well, the T3485s, the M18, you can throw in an IS-2 if you feel like it, the Duster if you're interested in that style of gameplay. Like, there's a bunch of different things you can bring in for that and work from. So for me, there's a lot of stuff that you can go for when it comes to this Chinese one, but I would just generally play it as you're grinding through. You don't have to meta it, you don't have to do it as fast as possible. It is only 30 kills, it's not going to break the bank, and since you have until the 18th of February, so you have a whole month to do these things, it's only 30 kills. Like, that's not a lot. The winged Longship emblem, so basically, once again, players defeated, air vehicles Britain. So another grinding one. So 30 kills in Air RB for, aviation for Britain. Now, Britain has a ton of options when it comes to this stuff. They have millions, it feels like, aircraft which you could fly. And as I said, use these decals as general grinding ones, so if you were going to play like certain vehicles in the British tech tree, now would be the chance to do it. I'm probably going to crack out the Sea Venom because I'm a masochist, or I might crack out the Swift F7 just to have a little bit of fun in. It really depends on, what I generally feel like doing. But I'm going to just play like the general vehicles that I was going to play anyway to try and, research and spade efficiently. But what I would do is I would use this as an opportunity to spade a bunch of vehicles that you have which aren't spaded. That's always the way to go with these players defeated decals, just because of the fact that no matter, at the end of the day, what vehicles you're using, as long as you're spading them, you're getting good research, you're getting good SL, and you're moving on to the next one to be able, to get the decal and also to get the vehicles going forward. If you want a really good vehicle to do this stuff in, the Mark IIB Trop is incredibly good with its 1277s and also its general really good maneuverability. The Spitfire Mark 1A is also incredibly good. You just have to stick to targets a little bit harder. Stuff like the Spitfire F Mark 9 is an incredibly good machine. The Griffin Spits are great at stuff like this. I would definitely say they're worth to have a look at. The Vampire right now has had a resurgence. The Meteor F Mark 3 and the Sea Meteor are great vehicles. The Seahawk is good, but only really when spaded. And yeah, there's a ton of really fun vehicles you could play in the British tech tree. Even if you want to go the Tempest Mark 5, which is a great vehicle, you can do that too. So there's many things that you can play and have fun in and be able to get the air kills. But if you really want to like meta it, I would say take like the Mark 2A Spit or the Mark 1A, depending on what you have. The next one is the emblem of the 9th Guard Tank Corps, and this is a point one, so you need to get 2000 score in a battle with the Soviet machines. Now, you need to get 15 missions played, so you don't have to win, is basically what that tells me. So you don't play to win, you play to kill, and you play to get points. And the way to do that with the Soviets, since the Soviets don't have incredibly strong CAS, if you have like certain premiums like the Tizmar, right, you can do pretty well in CAS, but generally you're not going to. Generally, like the CAS element of the USSR is a lot weaker than other nations that you can play. So normally the way we do this is you get in a light tank, and then you get in a plane, and then you bully in the plane, and then you go back into a ground vehicle to secure the 2000. With the USSR you do it slightly differently, because of the fact that the USSR has access to some pretty good heavy tanks across the board. You have access to stuff such as the KV series of vehicles, the KV-1S, the KV-1L11, the KV-1 ZIS-5, the KV-85, the IS-1, and a lot of these machines can take a hit, and they can take several hits. You get a lot of points from getting hit in War Thunder, and also dealing damage and killing stuff. So you have some options here. You can either do the T-34 lineup, with the T-34 40 and 41, plus the KV-1L11, or you can do the 4.0 lineup with the STZ and the KV-1S, and then plus maybe something else that you want to bring in. You can do the 4.3 lineup with the KV-1 ZIS-5, and then the ASU-57 and the SU-85, so you have something for every scenario. Or you can do the T-34-57 with, if you have its premium brother, the 4.7 as well. If you want to go higher tier, you can as well, but when it comes to the 2000 point challenges or the 2000 score challenges, it generally gets harder and harder and harder as you go up the ranks, especially when it comes to high ranks. Normally people don't spawn as much in higher ranks compared to lower ranks, and there's also a lot more stuff that can just kill you that you might not be able to deal with. Helicopters, for example, or CAS, or just random things which happen in the battles such as artillery. So generally you want to stick stick to lower tiers where you can command the battle a little bit better, and heavy tanks is the way to go, just because you can bounce a bunch of shots, get a lot of score, and then just push forward and do it that way. So yeah, I would probably go with the 4-3 lineup with the ZIS-5, the Su-57, and the Su-85, and put in the KV-1E if you have it. The next one is the Paradise Bird emblem, and this is for France. You have to kill 50 people in aviation, and so you just need 25 in realistic. This one shouldn't be too hard. You know, once again, general grinding one. Just play through the tech tree, spade things as you go, and you'll easily get this. If you want the good planes for France, because unfortunately French aviation, there is a few damp squibs. The VG-33C1 is a very fun plane, very good plane compared to everything around it. The F6F5 is good, the King Cobra is good, of course. The VBs I really like, but it seems like not many other people do. The F4U7 is great in ground RB, so you can actually do something like this in ground RB if you want. You know, quickly go to a cap and then, you know, get into an F4U7 and be able to rocket everything, or the AD4 depending on which one you want to do. So you can do this in ground. I think in air is fine to do. When it comes to the grinding of the jets, though, I have spaded both of these, and I have played these two. They are really not good. They don't feel good to play at all. They feel like buckets. So I would strongly recommend not playing these things. Maybe playing the Super Mystère on the Mirage if you enjoy those things. But generally, I would stick to the American fighters that are at rank 4 and rank 3, or the VG-33C1, or the P-40 Lafayette if you have that. That's a very good one too. The next one is the Centaurum emblem, and all you have to do is capture 35 zones. So this one is a general grinding one, but you can, if you want, do it quickly, mainly because Italy has a ton of very fast vehicles. So you have the Fiat 6614, the Orbal 74, the R3T106, the R3T20, you know, the Centaurum, the Remora as well. You even have the MGS if you feel like grinding that thing out. So Italy, 35 caps you'll just do over time as you play through this tech tree, and obviously the lower you go, the more chance you can get at a base capture streak. But I wouldn't worry about focusing on getting the captures. I would just play the game normally, and a lot of the maps, you know, you have that home capture zone as it's known about. You'll be able to get at least 1 cap a game, maybe 2 caps a game if you play well, maybe 3 caps a game if it's insane. So generally I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's just one of those that'll happen over time. Use it as a general grinding tool, so focus on it instead of what you're researching or what you're playing, and get these things spaded so you can move through the tech tree. And the last one is the emblem of the Panzer Battalion 304, and you have to you have to be number 1 in the team, Ground Vehicles Germany. Now this one is a little bit annoying because generally you have quite good vehicles for Germany, and I know this sounds a bit odd, but since there's a lot of good vehicles and a lot of good players that play Germany and a lot of bad players that play Germany, it's as if there's an average or something. Generally these ones are a little bit harder to get because you can't marshal with a specific lineup because you're going to have a bunch of other people who are trying to do the same thing. So you don't have to worry about the win. You have to worry about all of the other factors, so therefore you want to play the meta BRs for Germany. You know, 9.0 is very strong, 8.7 is very strong, 6.7 is very strong as well. You can play the 5.3 with the Tiger and the Panther. You could even do stuff such as the 2.7s. Once again, the lower the tier you go, the easier stuff like this gets. And the Germans have a really good 2.7. You know, the STKFC 2342, the Puma, the Panzer 3J1, the Marder also exists. And then you also have stuff that you can bring in planes-wise, such as, you know, things like the BF-109F, which works really well, and also even the Heinkel if you want to get some quite big bombs off and try and hit stuff. Also the BF-109E3 that you can throw in as a superiority fighter. We're talked about this a lot. You get more score as a plane than you do as a tank, so therefore it's a lot of the time it's good to have a first spawn, do well in it, and then get in a plane so you can get more score and get that first place and secure it. And that is the same here when it comes to playing Germany. You know, when you play Germany, you do have quite good CAS options. The BF-110s are really good, the ME-410 is pretty good, the G91R3 if you have that. You know, there's a lot of stuff which works incredibly well for Germany, so you can get first place through that, or you could just play the 4-0 lineup and, you know, be the spawn of Satan. You can play the Panzerkampfwagen Churchill, the KV-1B, and also the T-34 747 if you want to get first easy. But yeah, there's many, you know, very powerful lineups for Germany. 5-3, 5-7, 6-7. You know, 3-7's very good, 2-7, so you can just play any of them and just use them as, you know, meta definers. And if you find yourself getting up tiered a lot, then just switch out the lineup for something else. And then if you feel like you're getting down tiered a lot, then keep going and keep smashing to get this first place. It shouldn't be too hard, should be fine. You know, I believe in you, you'll be able to get it. And at the end of the day, these decals aren't too hard. The only one, at least for me, is the air-to-air one, and at least it's only 10. You know, it could be a lot worse, so I think that's alright. Overall, a lot of these are just standard, like, play the games. The only ones you have to focus on are the first places, and you'll be able to do it. You know, it's not too bad, especially over a time like a month. And this also kind of lines up with the end of the next battle the end of the battle pass. I believe the battle pass ends on the 15th of February. At least if you have a look at this stuff, it says like end 15th of February on the challenges. So you can do them alongside the battle pass stuff, so make sure to keep that in mind as you're going along. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Conte Baraka, Trigger Hippie, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Hosest Kishol, Hans, Barine, and Samuel Schlick for supporting the channel.